Robert, I have to say that fragmentation happens due to a number of reasons, and sadly, in our industry, there's a lot of disparities on in terms of what people want. Greed, I would say, is the main driver for these disparities because if every region or every company is so protective of what they do and how they do it, although they're all doing the same thing. I worked in the telecom industry before I came to the language industry, and I was involved in a number of initiatives with standardization. So some of the code today that runs on your phone, people early in 2000s, I was part of different committees and groups where we came up with things the way the mobile devices should operate and generate revenue for decades and decades. So there was harmony. I mean, we're talking about billions or hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars in telecom space that still continues to grow. Why? Because everybody was on the same wavelength and frequency, and they spoke the same language. No pun intended. But the point being that in our industry, we sell language services, but we don't speak the same language to each other. To Gary's point, there's a ton of associations and regional representations for whatever reason, and I've been to some of them. I find it sadly more red tape and more roadblock than anything else. I mean, I had to quit a number of associations because of the bickering and because of the the internal red tape that they were trying to put in because of interests of this one or two small companies here or some, and that to me is an obstacle to innovation. The only place I have found, to be honest with you, a very good degree of support and openness has been the ALC, or Association of Language Companies, which is based in the United States. And that leadership from the very beginning until this day has encouraged people to speak about the issue. They have hired lobbyists. Dr. Bill Rivers speaks on behalf of our industry. They have made significant changes at the level of regulation. In fact, they not only speak on behalf of language companies. This is an association of language companies, but they also speak on the behalf of consumers of our services, not just the buyers, the people who actually end up reading that one page of translation and a hospital that's intended for them. The way I see it, and I mentioned this in a recent event with Carrie, actually I was not an attendee, I was just asking a question, and my thinking is that we are not in an industry. Language industry is not an industry. It's a collection of very fragmented, disparate associations and freelancers, and even the roles between a freelancer and a language company is not well established or defined, although they try to bring in standards. But overall, there's a lot of chaos. And when you have all this chaos and a lack of visibility into the future because there's no leadership really, besides one or two associations that are trying to do their best, but everyone else is trying to compete with them. And as Kerry said, they're all trying to have conferences where they talk about the same things by the same people. The value gets lost. I think, agriculture is a really good example where farmers have been able to figure out a way to speak in the same voice and have representation globally and look after their interests. And that's actually, they are doing a massive service to the world by feeding people, but so do we. And we are unable to justify that value that we deliver and then create a demand for that value and try to look after the people who consume what we deliver. So because of that, I think that our industry right now is in the state that it is. And one more important thing I want to add is that our industry is lagging behind right now because of traditional thinking, legacy thinking. We still believe in the per word model, and we still believe that we want the same volume of text that we got in early 2000s for translation, and we should be using the same tools, and why we hate machine translation and why AI is a bad thing. So that when you combine all of that, that represents the state of our industry today. And I hate to say this, but if that thinking that brought us here doesn't change, our future will not change.